What's going on, guys? Danny here from Metal Couch, bringing you an album review which is a long time coming. Um, Mostly because when it first came out, it was a little too expensive for me to purchase, at least in my eyes. And this is Pink Floyd's The Wall Experience Edition. Now, really, a lot has been said about this album, and I really feel like I can't expand much on how big of an impact this album has had, not only in music, but also on myself personally and as a musician myself. But with this experience edition, the whole, I guess you could say, the reason to try to get people to buy this album again is, well, it's remastered by James Guthrie, who also did the Dark Side of the Moon Experience Edition that I reviewed a long time ago. I think I reviewed that when it first came out, sometime within the third quarter of last year, I believe. And the whole selling point of this album to me was the fact that it included a third disc full of band demos of most of the tracks that you find on the wall. And in terms of the production for the remastering, I didn't notice much of a difference in the way that it's remastered. I mean, really the only noticeable thing I can think of is a slight volume boost, which, you know, is okay, that's fine, but a volume boost really doesn't, to me, warrant a $30 price tag. But it's that third disc full of demo material that really caught my ears, I guess you could say. These demos contain so much so much material, really, and alternate versions of some of classic rock's most famous tracks, like hearing the original version of Comfortably Numb. I think it's called The Doctor on the disc, and also hearing a version of The Thin Ice without that explosive solo at the end of it. It really gives you a different perspective on how this album was originally thought out. And I guess really even right now, I don't believe that this album warrants a $30 price tag. I think that even with that special third disc, you probably shouldn't pay more than maybe $12 for this. It's really expensive to pick this album up. I got lucky and I was able to pick it up for around $12, a little bit over. It was slightly used, but I couldn't really, I couldn't see any of the any visible scratches or anything like that. But the importance of this album to me as a musician is it's definitely in my top 10 albums I've ever heard. This is more than just a collection of music. This is a story. It's music that I think most, if not all, people in the world can relate to in some way, shape, or form. And to think that this summer I'm going to be able to see this album performed live in its entirety is going to be a fantastic experience. So really there's not much to say other than if you really, really want these demos and want to go out of your way to purchase it, the remastering doesn't really warrant the purchase, in my opinion. The only thing that I could see somebody purchasing this album again, if they really wanted to, is if they're, like me, curious about the band demos, or two, they want to get the Immersion box set, which is this ultra mega expensive, I think it's a 7-disc set of including band demos, behind the scenes stuff. I think it has double the amount of demos that I received with the Experience Edition, and it's got all these little trinkets that come with it, like I think it comes with a scarf and a replica ticket from the Wall tour back when Pink Floyd was doing their Wall World Tour. So as far as the album goes, if you love the Wall, it's nothing drastic. There's no drastic changes to production here, just a slight volume boost that I can hear. Granted, I haven't listened to this album with my awesome headphones. I just listened to it on my computer. Uh, I can't see anybody in their right mind purchasing this for $30. Definitely pick this up cheaper if you can. Uh, but as far as the demos go, I really enjoy listening to them, and I think it brings a whole new perspective on how this album was originally going to be released. Uh, so, in terms of a final grade, due to the price tag, I'm going to have to say that this is probably a 7 out of 10. This isn't talking about the material of The Wall itself. The Wall is one of those albums that I think is perfect. I think that The Wall is one of those albums to me that gets a perfect score of a 10 out of 10. But in terms of this re-release, it's probably going to warrant about a 7. The high cost is really what hampered giving this an even better rating. But the demos themselves, they make up for it a little bit. So, the Wall Experience Edition, if you're a Pink Floyd fan, if you like The Wall, I recommend checking out the Experience Edition if you can. If not, you're not really missing much if you don't want to pick it up. So, Danny here from Metal Couch, signing off.